All right, we're live.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us again on Coffee and Bullshit. I have no idea what episode we're on.
97.
97. I can't believe we've already done. It seems like we just started this and it's already 97 episodes. I'm never here, so it goes quick for me.
True.
One of us is always working. Everyone, thank you for joining us again, especially from communist Illinois, where the Constitution no longer applies.
That is true. So if those who don't know that, Prisker on, was it Monday?
Yeah, I think it was Monday.
Yeah, Monday at around 8 o'clock, he signed into law saying Tuesday. Monday night,
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
When everybody was not watching.
Yeah. Said, you cannot buy or own high capacity or what they call assault weapons. The definition of an assault weapon is something that's fully automatic, which was outlawed in 1934.
They should have just called it the black gun law, because anything that's black is automatically, in their minds, bad, banned. My 9mm rifle, it's a pistol. My Beretta 6.4 is banned. It's an assault weapon. It's a 9mm. It's a pistol round. There's a 22 that's banned.
Quite a few 22s.
I couldn't believe it. So we have no idea what an assault weapon is. Just anything that looks black. I think it's like they went to a gun shop and walked around like, that one's scary. What's that? That's a Ruger 1022. Ooh, ban that. It's an assault weapon.
I think too many of them watched the movie Heat. That's probably what it was. They were watching the movie Heat and like, oh, those are bad guns.
They still don't understand the difference between a semi-auto and a full auto gun. So it's so dumb.
No.
So the limit for any rifle is 10-round magazine, and any pistol is 15. But everything's an assault weapon, and you can't have it, you can't buy it, can't trade it anymore. So it's going to cause massive problems for all the gun stores. A lot of them are our vendors who sell our coffee. We're just going to kill them.
Yeah.
I can't even think of what percentage of sales do you think the average gun store is where it's an assault weapon by this law?
Well, that and what's going to do to the gun show?
It's going to kill it.
Most of them sell rifles and magazines.
Mm-hmm. That's what you go for, is all the good parts.
Yeah.
Most
law-abiding citizens aren't there committing crime, but since it's been signed in, I bet you gangbangers and outlaws will turn in their weapon because it's illegal to have.
They showed down in the projects on the south side, most of the gangbangers had tables out in front of the complex. They're having yard sales for all their weapons. They're selling.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, pennies on the dollars. They're like, we don't want these. These are illegal now, so we don't want these guns anymore. Let's get rid of them. That or just created a bunch of soft targets and told everybody who's a criminal that, hey, nobody has a weapon now that can match yours, so every target's much softer than it was yesterday.
Yeah, I don't get why they banned the 50 cal or 50 cal rounds.
A Barrett that carries what, five rounds, I think, in the Barrett magazine.
Yeah, I think it's 5. Yeah,
5, like one in the chamber, 5 in the magazine or something. If you run around with a Barrett 50 cal,
trying to commit a crime,
right?
It's not.
It's a slow moving rifle too. It's bolt action. Like, it's slow. It's big. It's awkward as hell.
Yeah,
you couldn't hide it anywhere. Like,
unless you're like 7 foot tall
and
able to. You could shoulder it, but it's a heavy gun.
I've seen someone try to shoulder a Barrett. It basically tears your shoulder off.
Yeah, or you try to shoulder an M2. Anybody doesn't know the Mod Deuce?
No,
it couldn't happen.
So I think that seems to me more like we're trying to keep the citizens in line. That seems more like we don't want the citizens to have it, not because they'll commit crimes with it, but they can fight back against the government with it. That's what it sounds like to me. Fighting
tyranny.
Right. That's where a 50 cal would be good. It's not good for terrorist action. It's not good for attacking. It's just What's up, Warsaw? Kim, appreciate you joining us. Like the yard sale? Yeah. That's all I could see is they all brought their little card tables out in the front yard of their projects. Man, we got AR-10s going for $2, man. AR-15s, get them while you can.
Mac-10s,
got this
Tech
Uzi.
9s, they're all for sale.
I'll cut you a deal. We're tearing prices in half over here.
Can we see your FOID card before you
Jesus
sell
Christ.
it to you?
They're running background checks.
They're running
you guys got Wi-Fi? Got to run a background on this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, because the criminals, that's the first thing they do is, what the best part is that when you make a new law, criminals automatically obey it, and it stops that crime.
But then again, the Safety Act, whatever it is cashless bail for criminals,
Yes.
because criminals practically have more rights than law-abiding citizens.
Kidnapping, you can walk out of jail same day. Kidnapping.
I'm sorry if that person walked out. It was one of my kids or something like that.
I'm gonna kill you.
You wouldn't be sticking around.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna wait for you, and then I'm gonna shoot your ass if you touched or kidnapped one of my kids. I don't care. I'll go to jail for the rest of my life.
I don't.
How you let a kidnapper out? It's just like when they let rapists out of fucking jail. It's so fucking disgusting.
So Warsaw, you want to come on and talk? If you want to, I could put something out there and talk for a few minutes. We'll do it.
Because they wanted to chat offline.
Here,
Are we grandfathered in? Yes, we're grandfathered in. So you are grandfathered in. You have to. What the law says is by January of next year, you have to go register your gun with the state police. Any assault weapon that you have is on the list. Pay it. I don't know if the $25 fee is still there or they dropped it. It's confusing to tell.
Well, they have the pistol break that ATF said what it is. So you can register your pistol brace as an SBR, and it's free of charge. You don't have to pay the tax stamp of $250.
But initially there was a $25 fee for every assault weapon you had, but
for every rifle.
Right. It looks like they may have dropped that. I don't know. That was one of the changes they were pushing through in the Senate. The Senate was trying to push through. You're not a felon until January of next year if you don't register your weapon. But it's kind of confusing because you can have it, you just can't possess it outside of your property. So you're not a felon until you take it off your property. So you're not a felon just for having it.
But you can transport it to a place that will let you have it on their property. It was something weird. It's
like if you're going to a gun range, you can take it to a gun
hopefully
range.
The courts come in. All right. So Warsaw is going to come on and talk to us, see what he has to say.
What up?
Go ahead, man. You're live.
Thanks for the invite, man.
I have this working.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Let's see. I press on him.
So,
Mike,
can you hear me?
No, don't mute it.
I'm not. I'm trying to figure out how.
Oh, really good.
No. Huh. You can probably hear us, but
Warsaw,
we can't
say
hear
something.
You. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I can see how a thing like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Do you have the speakers on? Do you have the volume up?
Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah.
I don't know if this volume matters.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's a microphone.
No. How did we do it last time?
Go into settings. Make sure you got the volume up on here.
As usual, we'll have some. Is that audio?
Yeah, audio. That's the microphone. Speakers.
That's
default. Should be.
Speaker HP. Is this an HP?
I don't know. You don't have speaker set up, so.
All right. Oh, now we do. Okay, well, now we have speaker.
Now we should be able to hear Warsaw.
All right. So hold on. Let's get you back on here. All right. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Now we got it working.
All right. As far as the so-called assault weapons ban, the registry, in my eyes, it's bullshit. All it is it's a $25 tax, so they can go what your shit is, anyways.
True. They will. You register your weapon, your gun, your hunting rifle, pistol, and yes, they'll know where you are, and it's a $25 per item.
And last time I checked, it's actually a federal offense to actually having a state force its own citizens to register your firearms.
So what about the other states where the bans have gone through? What, the 9 other states?
8 other.
There's like 8 others. They've been around since like 2011, 2012. So there's California, Mass, Maryland, Connecticut. I don't know about Vermont. New York.
Yep.
Hampshire.
Connecticut.
Delaware is also now on
So
there.
are they pushing a $25 fine too? Have they gotten away with it?
No,
it's
this
set up?
is new. This is something new what they were doing.
I love that I have to pay the government $25 to tell them that I'm one of the people who has a rifle. So when they want to come get it,
Well,
they know
and
who I'm paying them to find me.
no, I think the government needs to take responsibility for what they've been doing. There's two things I've seen in Illinois. All right, one, we had that Aurora shooting, which,
Mhm.
by the way, a criminal was given a FOID card since 2014, and the Illinois State Police didn't take responsibility on that when he got a red flag for applying for a concealed carry permit, and that's what happened. So they didn't want to take responsibility for that. So all right, let's just fix the FOID Act. Then the second one was of course, you've heard about it, Highland Park shooting, which, by the way, that kid's father was the mayor of that town and expunged his previous record for owning knives and making threats,
Nice.
and was given a FOID card, with his, consent.
Mhm.
So the state police and the governor take responsibility on this, my book.
Never.
Yeah,
That's never going to happen.
no.
And it's the gun that causes the crime, not the criminal. That's my favorite part.
Well, and the police, I think the state police need to take responsibility on their part on this,
Right.
and the Aurora police.
It's this is going to do nothing. I mean, it's going to be in the courts soon. Hopefully, they get an injunction for it.
I don't know. It's
Um,
because
and
it passed
because
all these other states. It scares me that it's going to work here.
The Supreme Court already struck down New Jersey's concealed carry law, which was illegal, by the way, when they violated Bruin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're also going after New York now.
Yeah, they've been going after New York, telling them that because there were so many places that you couldn't. You even if you were in your car, your gun had to be unloaded.
Well, there's a lot of cities in Illinois, right? Because the state said they would yield to whatever the city laws were. So there's a bunch of cities in Illinois where you can't have your magazine and your weapon together in your car.
Well, and there's the border law with Cook County and Chicago. Like if you cross into the border county of Chicago, you automatically become a felon.
Mhm.
And the reason why that law stands is because back in 2012, concealed carry holders could not actually own a firearm within city limits, and that was because of pre-Heller.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the Bruin decision is going to unveil all the pre-Heller stuff.
Okay. I don't know. Do you think this law is going to stick? And we're going
I
to.
don't think it's going to stick at all, dude.
No.
There's too many businesses. The sheriffs and the police don't even want to enforce it. It's scrutiny, and I hate to say it's Canadian style in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I live in McHenry County, and I love that our sheriff up there was the first one to come out and actually make a written statement saying, "I will not support this. I will not back it. We will not prosecute for it. We will not go after it. That's against the Second Amendment."
Well, and the Constitution of Illinois.
Right. That's right. So, and the best part is Vermilion County. I just read. This is awesome. They will fine their police officers if they attempt to arrest somebody or find somebody for breaking this law. That's how serious Vermilion County is against it. That's awesome. They told their police officers, "We will fine you if you try to write somebody a ticket or arrest them for this law."
Well, like Kane County, our sheriff Haynes, he did put out a statement, and it was saying, he won't have any of his people get you, but somebody who breaks the law, yes. But then he put in depth saying, there needs to be more mental health, and something else. But there's a mental health problem.
Definitely.
And most of these people, I mean, some of them that like the Highland Park, but criminals are criminals. They're not mentally dumb.
But at the same time, I think that the result of Highland Park was because of that mayor, mostly in my book.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the police were called to his house, 17 times?
Yeah, for owning knives that he was giving death threats to people with.
Right.
Yeah.
He threatened his own parents, too. And
then the father still bought him a gun.
Right. Then you're a moron. And
well, especially when he expunged a criminal record on his son. So, that's a criminal action right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So that's the kind of bullshit that makes situations like this happen.
We want to say hi to Danny. Glad that you came out of your brain surgery. Hope you're doing better and get well soon.
No, but there's just so much deep corruption that needs to get unveiled in this state, I think.
Wow, that's always been the case here in this state. It's funny. 3 years ago, we were at a gun show. The guy next to us, he had his map up of Illinois. He's like, divide Illinois into 2 states. And a line like around Cook and I think maybe part of DuPage and Kendall. Like counties like they're their own state. And then everybody else is like, this crazy guy. It's never gonna happen. I think, man, that was the right thing to do for this state is make it 2 states. You can have all the liberal Democrats can be in one state and everybody else in Illinois can be in another so that we get equal representation.
Well, and I was actually thinking, my buddy, he suggested we succeed from Chicago. Actually, separate Chicago from the rest of Illinois. The 2 sections of Illinois would be in part of Indiana and Missouri.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So there's what 4 counties down south who have put together a secession bill, and they voted on it. They passed it in all their counties. They're pushing it to the state. They want to secede from Illinois. I mean, these 4 counties are pushing for it. It's like we don't want to be a part of this stupid shit anymore.
So would they become their own state, or would they?
It's never.
They can never become their own state because they need approval.
It's an extension of their own states.
Right. They can't really, but there's been cases where there are like inside a state. There's a micro state. There's a couple places where that's actually happened where. I like that. Like it's one of those weird things to show on Google. Like there's an area where like in this state that it's its own thing. It doesn't in like. They can't accept protection or road funds or education funds from the state.
Well, isn't that like that up in Minnesota? There's a town that belongs to Minnesota, but in Canada.
Oh, something
but
like
they
that.
but they're under Canadian law.
Yeah,
but they belong to Minnesota. I'm like, well, that's strange.
Yeah,
it's like a little part. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how much they can get away with. It depends, but what crosses lines.
Now, so if I don't know, I mean, next, now what they're talking about, banning gas stoves. What the hell does gas stoves have to do with anything?
It's this freaking electric shit.
Gas stove.
Well, it's just like the electric cars now. They're trying to go to gas stoves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that electric cars. They get their electricity from
gas.
Right. Coal burning plants. Like people. Oh, it's so clean. No, you're creating a bunch more pollution by burning so much more coal to charge all these cars. They said the infrastructure is not even close to be able to handle.
No,
what we don't even have it.
Right. By 2035, it's nowhere near close, and you will collapse the grid. And so the stupidity of it. If I can't see it, it's not happening.
Right. That's what it is.
If I can't see the pollution coming out of your tailpipe, then it's not. There's no pollution. Except you're firing up every coal plant to try to keep up with this.
Which they keep closing down coal plants.
They're opening them back
China keeps opening a new one every day.
And China follows all the laws.
Yes, China follows all the laws.
So they showed like a map. Like China's like the worst. It's 10 times worse than like than the second worst spot on the globe for air pollution.
Yeah,
it's 10 to 15 times worse than the second worst spot.
And then they are going to be, I don't know. I mean, in Afghanistan, they have some rare minerals, right? And the Chinese want it.
So where they just find that? So, Sweden just found one of the largest stockpiles, not stockpiles, but deposits of rare earth materials.
Right.
And China's fighting for it. China's going and trying to grab.
But to dig that up will cause so much more pollution.
They don't care.
Having China.
But as far as this whole, so-called assault weapons ban they're trying to propose and see what sticks on the wall, there's a guy I follow on YouTube. He's known as Freedom Steel, and his name is actually Todd Vandermine. So he's actually got donation pages and people to actually donate to actually fight for our case here. And I think we got a solid case here.
Yeah, you can always donate to the GOA and the World Sportsman Club.
The Illinois State Rifle Association's doing something too.
Yeah, and there's the Aurora Shooting Sports Association, wherever it is.
Yeah,
you know what's funny too is I have not seen the NRA in any of this.
He was at the NRA was actually at the one of the committee hearings.
Really? Yeah, I haven't heard a statement from them. I haven't heard them say we're fighting this. This is not going to stand.
Yeah,
I haven't heard much from them. They've been pretty quiet. And if you guys want,
they want to keep calling you to get more money.
Right. If you guys want to help in the fight too, you said we put a post up today. We're going to do a coffee that we're going to donate a big portion of the proceeds from every bag of that coffee to the fight to whoever we kind of figure out doing the most to defend our rights. And
or we'll split it up between the two. Or
right,
something.
right. And you can go on Facebook now. We're doing a naming contest, so go submit your name for it. If you win, you get a good prize pack. You'll be the first to get coffee. We'll pick them. You the people will vote on it.
Yeah.
Make it happen. So that's what we're going to do to try to help generate a
Yeah.
little support for this. See what else we can do to help fund some of the fight.
Well, and and here's the thing: when you swear and uphold an oath, especially a governor or any person that's elected,
Mhm.
that oath is supposed to withstand to the United States Constitution and their state constitution.
Yeah.
And if
I don't-
that's a contradiction, then right behind you, that flag right there is a contradiction with the swear to uphold.
Oh, I think it's all a testament to how comfortable or how much we take for granted these great rights we have that people fought and died for. Because
Yeah.
people are willing to give them up without a bit of thought. Yeah, get rid of all that. You're second. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Freedom of speech.
They'll give up freedom of speech. They're giving up rights because they have no idea what it took to get those rights or keep them or hold on to them.
I mean,
Well,
a lot has to do with the current teaching in
Yeah.
some of these colleges and high schools, teaching the kids, you should
The next
obey.
generation is so soft. It makes me throw up a little bit.
Well, here's another thing. You know that when they passed the bill into law, I was actually really shocked how they did it. They did exactly what happened in New York. You heard of the New York Safe Act of 2013, right?
Yes.
When they passed it, they did it without actually voting or actually choosing on it during the daytime. They did it at time at nighttime where they rushed it into the House and through the Senate. They
Yeah.
did exactly here in Illinois, and sure enough, it's the Safe Communities Act,
Right.
You know,
exactly like in New York.
Yes, and it gave no time for anybody that was like
To see it, read it.
well, yes, and I had a
look how
customer
long.
come in,
Look how long it was. Was it 112 pages? I think it's 112 pages.
something like that, 110, 112.
I started reading them. Like the first 50 pages are blah blah bullshit, just so that you don't read through it. I think they purposely write that shit that way so that you don't get all the
bored.
way through and you can hide stuff in there and you slip it in.
Well, they
here or
tried
there.
to slip it in other bills.
Mhm.
Can we slip this in here because we think toboggans and bobsleds are dangerous, and this falls within the Safe Community Act.
Well,
Well, that's such a spin too. The Safe Communities Act. It's such bullshit. Put it under Safe Communities Act, then you have to do it. You have to do it for the children rather than assault weapons ban, limitation of the Second Amendment. They would never call it that. We call it the Safe Communities Act.
if they cared about children in Chicago, how about stop all the gangs that were shooting each other up and people on the crossroads of the crossfire that they're always having these illegal firearms on people?
This is going to do it. This is right here. They put the law. out.
Bullshit.
No, they're turning in their weapons and selling them at discount prices because the law came out. They don't want to break the law. So
They're having a fire sale.
right. The first thing anytime you put a law in place, it immediately stops the crime. If we would make murder illegal, murder would stop.
You
Rape
cannot
illegal,
legislate
stop.
morality.
Nope. But you can sell it that we can, and then you can pass bills to do it. That's what you can do.
Yeah, I mean,
look how well the Chicago gun laws have worked. There's been no gun violence since they passed the tightest restrictions in the country. It's completely stopped. No one had automatic weapons on the street midday, firing off 220 rounds in a crowded intersection.
Let me ask you this: when was there was a time where Illinois had the right to regulate and restrict certain firearms in its history? Because I don't see anything in state history and tradition to actually make a proposal like an assault weapons ban in Illinois. The only time I saw that was like alcohol prohibition of Chicago.
right, and prohibition didn't work either. We still
I
had
don't
alcohol.
remember if there was a time when they regulated.
Just the 1934
Probably when the MOP
1934 for the fully automatic weapons. That was it.
Yeah,
NFA or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That was about it.
yeah. That's when
but-
mob killings were at their highest.
Right, and it's not like back then you could buy a Tommy gun, order it in the mail, and have it sent. I mean,
Yeah, for like $40.
you could have a BAR sent to you.
Yeah.
Fuck, those were the good old days.
But again, it's so stupid to make laws against law-abiding citizens.
Law-abiding citizens.
Well,
The Boyd card is unconstitutional.
that's also in one of the lawsuits that's in the pile right now for a case. Believe it or not.
yeah.
You passively become a felon. Any law that passively makes you a felon should not be allowed to be a law.
Right. You know, don't treat criminals with kid glove hands. They're you broke the law, you get thrown in jail.
Well,
You
here's another thing I
get
want to
thrown
add.
in prison, right? You have to, but no cash bail, stuff like that. It's a little
Yeah,
ridiculous.
there's another thing I want to add. When they enacted this law, I find it really discriminating. They're telling, all right, you have two options: you can either destroy your property or you have to move out of state. Well, now everybody out there has the capacity or finances to move and relocate out of another state. So you're discriminating people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what cash bail, right? That's why they had to get rid of cash bail, because that's a discriminatory thing, right? That's what they said. That's the reason, because you're making poor people they can't afford to bail themselves out. Well, that's the whole point of bail, is we don't want that person on the street, and that's why that bail is so high, because we need a way to hold them until we can prove them guilty.
And it's just not poor people either. I mean, even some people that are
Right.
middle class can't afford, to.
Yep.
Who has 50 or 100 grand? Then you have to go put your house up, put all your assets up against it to get a bond, just to get out of jail, right?
Yeah.
But you can't
Yep.
afford it. But that's excuses that, well, they can't. Well, you're a criminal. You shouldn't be able to get out of jail. I really think that's a hiccup. Like, I get that you're innocent until proven guilty, and I don't want to step on that right. But goddamn, if you commit a heinous crime, I believe in no bail. Would you let the guy from Idaho go run around until his trial?
No.
If
Right.
he was in Illinois, you could.
Right. That's what next is like. They helped me walk out same day.
It's not just Illinois. What about Detroit, Michigan?
Are they same? No cash bail?
I'd say it is pretty much almost the same thing.
I didn't know
Well,
that.
that's Governor Grisham.
Great. And
Christian.
like one of the worst places in the country.
Yeah, just Detroit's a fucking shithole.
You go ahead, kill everybody, then you can get out. We feel bad. We don't want you to.
You ever seen the movie White Boy Rick?
Yes.
Well, if that's how corrupt it was back in the '80s, and I say it's a lot worse than it was in Chicago. They even had probably was it the National Guard that was on their lists.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's all coming true. Everything they always show in the future, like where it's lawless society just running around, the criminals are running everything. It's coming. It's coming to fruition. The laws are set up to punish the law-abiding citizens, and the criminals can do whatever the fuck they want.
But if you're a law-abiding citizen, you become a criminal, then you can just get out.
Right.
And maybe we should stop calling it law-abiding citizen. We call it a sovereign citizen. Technically we're sovereign citizens.
But the problem is they use it as a dirty word now, right? Because the sovereign citizen is the YouTube guys like, I'm a sovereign citizen, the laws don't apply to me.
Then you'd be deemed as a white supremacist.
When the true sovereign citizens are police, because they have qualified immunity. That's what makes them sovereign.
Not in Illinois, I don't think.
They have qualified immunity here.
They can get struck and stuff.
Some of their stuff has been stripped.
They
can be sued, I think, individually.
Really?
I think
it's
so.
Not the city who foots the bill. Yeah. I think it's still the city or the county who foots the bill. It's not them individually. And the only way you have to lose that qualified immunity first. The only way you lose that qualified immunity is through a civil rights violation. But a court just ruled the other day. I could not believe this. I can't remember where it is. So like these 6 cops completely violated this person's civil rights. They're fourth, they're first, they're fifth, and they're sixth. Like it was a gross negligence violation. And the judge said, well, it's the first time doing it, so they didn't know. So ignorance of the law was an excuse for them. And so their qualified immunity stood there.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be where these, the different groups that are suing the state are, picking like different areas, right? They're not all combining into one. They're this part, 3 or 4 different areas. And, hopefully they get it. What do you call it? Where they stop the law from being.
Well, what they might
be talking a TLO.
Yeah.
TLL stay. Yeah, that's what it's called for law.
Yeah.
So they'll have to pick individual bits and pieces and start stripping away a little, take an inch at a time back.
Right.
to make the to where the law just doesn't even make sense anymore. It's such a skeleton of what it was. It is not even
Right.
worth
Doesn't-
enforcing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and they said it could run up to $2 million for each case.
Of course, that's
know.
that's the real preventative measure for the government. It's you can address your grievances, but it'll cost you millions of dollars to do it.
Right. And the
That-
state
that-
will use the money from what we paid for.
Right. They use our tax money to defend against us, against our own challenges. And you can never, unless you're a multi-billionaire, you can't outfund the state. The state never runs out of money.
Well, there's quite a few millionaires that should be able to help out.
You would think we had billionaires back in our three last gubernatorial candidates.
Maybe Pritzker can pitch in some money.
I found out he's actually from California, believe it or not, out of all places.
Really?
If you look up his profile, his abbreviation for his state he's from, it's CA. It's literally from California.
Of course it is. That makes the most sense now. I don't think you can grow up in this. You can grow up in this state and be a super liberal Democrat.
Well, just like Patrick's saying, Illinois is famous for wasting money. So Bobby,
That applies to some other states, not to Illinois.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but for what Illinois, for what 5 years in a row, we couldn't have a balanced budget, and they couldn't even come up with a budget. They had a stall to come up with a budget. Then they defaulted.
Do we even
how
have
the-
a balanced budget?
How long were we in default for? And our credit rating was an F. And Pritzker had the big honor of raise it to a D. He said,
Probably D minus.
Yeah.
That's from a D minus.
Here's another thing. They say you want to keep fighting for Ukraine and support the Ukrainians overseas. Well, all right, but at the same time, you want to sacrifice and destroy what the founding fathers were fighting and dying for here in this country.
"Well, imagine if Ukraine had been under the same restrictions as what we're going under now, and the citizens were all de-armed. Part of why Ukraine was able to make any kind of stand is because their citizens were armed.
Well, besides just firearms, you heard of the Holodomor massacre, haven't you?
Mm-mm.
That was when Stalin actually confiscated all the Ukrainians
yeah.
and starved them to death.
Yes, yeah, right. So, right. But the belief is now why people are ignorant now is that they're in their minds that kind of thing could never happen here. That's why they're willing to lay down those rights and give them up. That could never happen here.
History always repeats itself.
In some form or fashion.
Correct.
Every place they've ever said that could never happen here, it's happened there. It's happened there. And it's happening all over. It's happening in places all over the world now. Happened in Brazil just a couple days ago, right? It's happened in Afghanistan and Iran. Citizens have had to rise up, and so tyranny is anywhere. And
Now, speaking of Afghanistan, now I'm hearing ISIS is now coming back.
of course they are.
Of course.
What would
They
stop
have
them?
nothing to fear. Right? They can come back. They start stealing oil again, selling oil.
They're world funded. You can't until you cut off that pipeline.
Yeah. Hey, quickly, Bobby, hopefully Rhonda's doing better. Hopefully she gets well soon.
Well, what happened to her?
She had something. She was having like a bad migraine and had to go to the hospital.
Oh.
She's been there for 2 or 3 days.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. I've been to the hospital with a migraine, but never for 2 or 3 days.
So, and well, he has said, hopefully we'll get this coffee in the next, we'll get a name from you guys.
Go on and submit your name.
Yeah, go
Win
submit
the
a
prize
name.
pack. Help us out. Help us help you by
Right.
supporting you, by helping us raise funds to help fund the support.
Oh, she did.
She had a stroke and a brain aneurysm. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
My God, I hope she's okay. It's horrible. Wow.
yeah.
That's good. She's doing good. Jesus.
Well, I mean, the good thing is they can, if they catch it on time, right, for those type of things, they can.
You got to do what, the 5-hour window
Yeah,
for strokes now?
that's good. Send her our love to her, or if she's watching this.
I'll
Have
put-
to have her back on here. No more drinking whiskey for you. No.
So I wonder how many more states within a year, because they're going to say, oh, Illinois can get it done. Now we can get it done. They're going to start pushing.
Yeah,
for
but
this shit.
most of the other states are all red states.
Well, no, how about the constitutional carry? Like, what is it now? 52 states now are getting close to constitutional carry?
It's so awesome. I love it.
Only if it passed from the
No,
government, right?
32. 32. It's 32.
32, yeah, because we would be one, because we're not. We can carry, but we don't reciprocate to other states, which is the most ridiculous thing.
The funny thing, though, I've said every time I've been in a state that's constitutional to carry, right? Because what the liberal nuts will tell you is, oh, people, it'll be like the old west. People will have guns on their hips, holsters everywhere. There'll be shootings in the street. There'll be showdowns in the street. Every constitutional carry state I've been in, I have never seen as many guns there as I have in concealed carry states. I see more guns here in Illinois, walking around, seeing people out, than I see in any of the constitutional carry states. It's crazy. So,
you know what? Every time they say that, they just don't trust you.
it's such bullshit
Right.
that it's going to be a showdown. It's not. People are responsible to carry guns. The nice thing is it limits crime because people are like, Jesus Christ, everybody in here might be armed. So the looting, the bullshit that goes on in here, that doesn't happen as much there in those states. Those crimes are less.
Yep.
If you look at across the board, those crimes are less. Carjackings are less. Looting, rioting, thieves is less. Rape is less. So the murder rate is lower because you have a whole bunch of people who are armed who can defend themselves.
Wasn't there an incident in Chicago just happened where it was like two ladies, but the one lady did the interview, but just some random guy came up there and smacked the shit out of her, right?
Right.
Cold cocked her, and then
I-
went across the street and cold cocked another person.
I believe every woman should carry a gun and be trained to carry it well because it's an equalizer for women. Your average woman has no chance against any man out there.
No.
It's completely unfair. And I think
Yeah.
the one thing I was talking to a woman the other day about is the one thing you don't think about for as a guy is you basically feel like you can walk anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter, right? Even if you're walking in a bad neighborhood, your thought is, I might get killed. Is I hope nobody tries to rob me, right? It's not hope nobody tries to sexually assault me, rape me, beat me, and drop me in a ditch somewhere. You never think that,
but it
that's-
does happen.
but right, but women anywhere they go, so anywhere sometimes they're always under that constant threat.
Yep.
Right?
Here's a. You go ahead.
As a guy, I believe I can fight my way out of most situations. I might get my ass kicked, but I'm going to fight.
Mhm.
It's going to be a battle. For women, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Well, what was there's another one I was looking to. You heard of Rhode Island, right? State of Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
If I looked up the Rhode Island GOP on their YouTube channel,
Mhm.
there was a guy that's actually for gun rights, and he's gay, obviously, but he's actually a big part with the LGBTQ firearm rights community. And he stated, "I'm more of a high majority risk than I am with the other standard citizens. Like I could be killed because you won't allow me to be concealed carry." So there was a law that he was trying, the state was trying to place. It said that you got to be at least 21 in order to conceal carry. Well, if you're a minor, 18-year-old guy that's gay or let's say LGBTQ, how are you supposed to be able to get a permit and apply for a concealed carry? Well, you can't because that law was placed, and he called the guy out for legislating it.
Right. Well, you have to be 21 to carry, 21 to buy a pistol, right? You could be 18 and buy a rifle.
Not anymore.
No, still can.
The law raised it to 21.
No, I thought they took it out.
From what I read, last read, it was still in there. It had to be 21 now
Oh,
to own or purchase.
Yep. But the point he was making is like, he's a different minority, and people aren't
Right,
always taking
right.
account of him.
Right. Right. People in that community are targeted just because of who they are. So you don't even think
Right.
about that. Like, yeah, you're more of a target. I guess you don't even think about it because if you're not in that part, that they go out with a target on their back every day.
Yep.
Shit, we
Right.
had it here. We had it here by me in my city. They were targeted. There were dudes standing outside this cafe, and they attacked the people. Just
so they take your way to not to defend yourself.
Yep.
I don't care. I don't care what you are, white, brown, black,
right.
gay.
He's
not
a human
gay.
being.
It's your right to carry a gun.
Right. If you're higher target, that's why I love constitutional carry. No bullshit. You can carry. It doesn't have to be, the danger is in Illinois. You carry places you can't go into with it. Every place you can't go in as a concealed. Did it? Oh my God. Somebody see it. Because we've had people. There's crazy people here. The Karens of the world will call the police if they happen to see the handle of a gun in somebody's waistband who's concealed carry here and say this guy's here threatening the store to shoot it up. Right.
Oh, I agree with concealed carry. I don't really believe in open carry. You just make yourself too much of a target when you open carry.
But if everybody's open carrying,
Well, if I was open carrying, I'd be like having 2 6-shooters on my side,
yeah, but nobody does that. All the open carry states, nobody behaves
some
that way.
chaps on.
Right. Nobody's that asshole in open carry states, right? Nobody's that douche that does that. Like I said, I see less weapons in open carry and constitutional carry states than I see here in Illinois. It's concealed carry, but I see it all the time, right? You know what you're looking for. I see more here than I see in open carry states.
Well, if they're printing, yeah. But
No, but according to anybody, you do open constitutional carry, open carry, everybody will have guns on their hip. That's never the case. I've never once seen that yet.
I just assume everybody's carrying, but if they're wearing a mask, I assume they're not.
Well,
It's true.
here's
they're
another
wearing-
thing. Speaking of carrying, you know, it's also considered a weapon under the Second Amendment. A pocket knife.
Yep.
I thought you were going to talk about these guns.
Oh, that too. No, but last time I checked, I was actually at a surplus store. There was actually a law that there was actually placed a while back when what was it, Rauner, Governor Rauner was around.
Hmm.
People were getting convicted for carrying a certain pocket knife length or something, and pretty much you would go to jail unless you didn't have a FOID card. And they were telling like, guys, this is a pocket knife. You should not be prosecuted for this.
Well, the funny thing is, Illinois, I think the laws, now we looked at it, it's kind of crazy. Like if it's a folding pocket knife, you can't have a blade longer than
3 inches.
3 inches. And then if it's a stiletto or a fixed blade, it can't be I can't remember if it's 2 7/8 or something ridiculous. It's something so stupid I can't believe it.
Most people I know don't carry just a 3-inch blade.
Right. What is that? That's your average little pocket knife is 3 inches, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
My tiny little knife I carry on my key ring is like 2.5. There. That's like 12 inches. This knife, this blade here is 12 inches. My wife said. No, this blade alone. This is the stupidest little tiny knife. That's like 2 inches. So it's just about almost illegal to
Yeah.
carry that little tiny knife. It's a letter opener and box opener. And I couldn't do any damage with anybody like that. Like, you have to get really close to me, please. So it's dumb. There's no common sense behind
You
any
stick
of
it
it.
in his ear, you clean out the wax.
Right. There's no common sense. You can't even put an edge on that blade. I've tried.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no common sense to the law. It's just we just say whatever we want. And everybody's a criminal.
Yeah.
That's how we get total control. I don't know. I hate getting tired of this state. I used to love it. Hate it.
All right. Well, we're going to be ending here in just a minute. So
Ooh. Thank you for joining us,
George,
Warsaw.
thank
Thank
you.
everybody else for joining us, Bobby.
Thanks for the invitation, man.
Yeah, man. Danny, I hope you're getting better quickly.
all right, we'll
Great to
talk
see
to
you
you later,
back.
Warsaw.
Take
Good
care.
afternoon. Thank you, everybody else. Dash 10, thanks for joining us. Embrace the suck coaching. Awesome. I don't know. A Ramirez. Awesome. I wonder if that's Autumn. Own some roads. Shout out everybody.
So hey, yeah, don't
James
forget
Chaser, TDK Creations.
don't forget to go on Instagram or
Insta or
Facebook,
Facebook.
or where else we have it, and put a name in there.
Get
You
your
know.
name so you get the first to get the coffee. Help us
Yeah.
support. We want to sell as much of that stuff as possible. We want to move it quick, so go get names going. And then we'll put all the names up for a vote.
Yeah,
We'll
it's,
keep
it's going to
tally.
be a good coffee too.
I'm sure we'll do a prize for the top 3, some kind of prize for
Yeah,
all
we
3.
can do a prize for top 3.
And then
That's
the
nothing big.
number one who gets the name we'll pack them out for prizes because that's awesome to do.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Don't forget to keep your head on a swivel.
Have a great rest of the
We'll
weekend.
see you next weekend.
Thank you again for all your support.
All right. Peace.
Later on, guys.